All right, so guys, listen, throughout the entirety of this channel, some of the themes that have come up is specific to investing or spending time with the wrong choice, the wrong option, the wrong woman, and identifying red flags, key indicators in order to determine who's right versus who is wrong. But I haven't really sat here and talked long form into my thoughts of how to identify, correct, and then also the negative repercussions of selecting incorrectly. Because there's some lessons that are in life that come quietly, but investing time, energy, effort into the wrong woman absolutely is not one of them. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and act like this wasn't me at one portion of my life, right? It's taken me a long time, even within myself, in order to figure out right from wrong. But let me tell you, one of the purpose in doing this content is that so there's someone that will come across it and not meander in figuring this out the same way that I once have, or the same way that some of y'all out there that are relating to the message. Nevertheless, when a man overinvest into the wrong woman, that price is loud. That's why I'm saying that it won't come quietly, because it's time wasted, it's energy wasted, energy drained, money wasted. Them dollars is gone, baby. But then above all of these things, it is focus that is lost. It is purpose that is lost. The opportunity cost of those short-term viscous innards may have lost you your shot at your purpose. But you must understand that in selecting the wrong one, this is not just something that's going to happen overnight. And that's the most sinister component of this, is that it's going to happen slowly, often one compromise at a time, until you wake up one day and realize that you built your life around somebody who was either never ready, never grateful, or was never the right option. You may also wake up one day and realize that you built your life around happy life, happy wife. Now, before we continue down this road, I just wanted to offer, because I understand that there's women that watch this channel as well. There's about 37 of y'all at this point. I am not here on this platform to bash women. Contrary to popular belief, I love women. But we got to be able to talk about y'all so that we can understand the best ways to handle y'all. Because the truth of the matter is that the wrong relationship will cost a man more than what men could ever imagine. And as a man who is on a path, a goal, a North Star in mind, or on a mission, you must protect your resources on that mission. That's your time, your energy, your money, your focus, your mental clarity. Some of my Gen Ys and probably some of my Gen X's that watch the channel is going to know what I'm referring to right now. But it was an old game back in the day. The name of it was Oregon Trail. You guys remember that game? What was the component or the purpose of that game? It was to get across Oregon, right? Yeah. So, but if you didn't respect the resource management of that game, you didn't sleep enough, you didn't get enough water, you didn't get enough food, then you'd succumb to some horrific death, like dying via diarrhea or dysentery or some shit like that. You guys remember that game? The same concept applies to a man that is on his path, his goal, and his mission. If you do not effectively manage your resources, one of the biggest times that will take you away from your path is investing into the wrong woman, well, then that death via dysentery will be you, proverbially speaking. Kind of, sort of, but not really. But the point is that a woman who does not respect these different resources that is important to the creation of you, then it will inevitably be game over. And I want all of the men that are listening to this to understand is that when I say investment, your mind just might go towards money, not the other things that I've been calling out. You must understand that money is just the surface level. Money is just one of the many types of resources. But that time, energy, and mental clarity, is huge. And what made that look like? You prioritizing her emotional comfort over your purpose, over logic. You sacrificing your discipline, your health, even your financial goals just to keep her around. Shit, I was listening to a story not too long ago by a young brother that said, young lady decided not to go on a date with him because where she wanted to go was beyond his budget. He said, cool, fine. So he knew right then the type of timing that she was on. And he also knew the type of headache that she would invite later into his life. So as a strong man, what did he do? He walked away from the situation. Now, it doesn't mean that as a man you can't give or be generous. The contrary, you can give, but you must give wisely. A woman worthy of investing into should fuel your discipline, should fuel your energy, should fuel your focus, should fuel your capacity, not fracture it. That's what we talk about so often. We say that we're looking for women that are deeply feminine and know how to give peace. How does she help your cup run over as opposed to drink from it? That's the major difference between being an asset versus a liability. But let's get into some other high-level things that I think you guys should take stock of before choosing or investing for the long term. Number one, she respects your time and your mission. You don't need to explain why you're building or why the schedule or the routines matter. She does her due diligence to understand it herself, and she supports your pace. Number two, she'll bring you peace, not problems. And if a problem does arise or a conflict, she's not bringing it to you in a way that adds constant drama within the situation. You must understand that these toxic drama dwellers, they're liabilities. A worthy young lady is going to bring a calm and sophistication as well as maturity. Number three, she represents discipline within herself. She has the ability to manage her own purpose, her own money, her own emotions. That's a huge one because most of them don't want to practice emotional control. And in fact, they see it as a badge of honor to be reckless within that. And as well as goals. Sometimes you'll hear like during like street interviews, let's say, when asked about the type of woman that men are looking for, they'll say something to the effect of, I don't even care if she was working at McDonald's. Now, I completely disagree with that sentiment, depending upon her age, right? But for the age range that I think would be appropriate for me, the age range where they just don't piss you off because they have nothing else to talk about besides what the hell is on TV. But a mature thinking young lady that has not built up the discipline, the skill set, or the talent to move beyond service worker at McDonald's, how would I trust her with my kingdom? Let's say if I was to get sick or if I just give her a small task. She doesn't understand enough about the world or has had enough experiences to be successful. She has demonstrated that she is incapable of handling certain components of her own life. So how am I going to build with her? Next, I believe we're on 4. She shares core values with you. All right. This is one of the importance of understanding her thoughts in regards to roles between the masculine as well as the feminine. It's important to understand any political values that might separate you, religious values that might separate you, as opposed to ignoring these different things and saying, well, she got a huge ass, we're going to figure it out anyway. I would say is a bit short-sighted because attraction, physical attraction or beauty is going to eventually fade, but shared morals or principles don't. And if she's aligned, respectful of your ambition, discipline, purpose, then there's a solid foundation to go back to. So when you think about when all of these qualities are present, and I'm sure that there's some that I'm leaving out there, these are the cornerstones for not over investing. You are choosing wisely, and having wisely led decisions is the anti-threat to joy within your life. Because again, when you overinvest into the wrong one, the person that you're going to spend the most amount of time with within your life, who you wake up to each and every day, you ain't just losing time or energy, but you might be losing your momentum towards that joy. And you stop showing up fully for yourself, for your own mission. How you think we got happy life, happy wife? You hesitate on opportunities. You soften who you are as a man. You soften your standards. You compromise your schedule, your workouts, your budget, your focus. And for what? Because media has tricked you to compromise, because that is the definition of being loving or being loyal. That's why I talked to you guys not too long ago about the importance of being able to say no, because your sacrifice or your pedestalization means that you are abandoning you. You're abandoning yourself. And a man that abandons himself, he cannot lead in anything. Not in the relationship, not in business, and not in life. Damn sure not in life. One of my favorite terms or economic principles that I learned within business school was the concept of opportunity cost. The time that you put into a certain investment, the opportunity cost is the time, the money, the resources that you could have lost out in focusing on a separate opportunity. When I think about the investment in selecting incorrectly, I think about the opportunity cost of not selecting correctly. Shit, dating in itself is an economic principle between supply and demand. Continue to build yourself up as a man to increase the demand within who that you are, to make yourself a better product, to increase the chances of getting a good product on the dating marketplace. But do understand that aesthetic, good-looking products are not necessarily wise products. But all right, guys, thank you for stopping by here today. Hopefully you've learned something new within the conversation here. I appreciate you guys, as per usual, within this content here today. Any comments? Write them down in the comment box down below. Anything to share? Anything you think that I missed out on? All right. How many of you guys come down into the video and go straight down to the comment section to see what people are saying? That's the value that the community can add as well. All right. So let me know, guys. Until next time, let's get active. Peace.
She belongs to the street.
Girl, don't hold my hand. You a mattress actress on the OnlyFans. Get your money, girl, but damn, how is that your only plan? What you gonna do when you get too old to strip and dance? Get up out your echo chamber screaming period and yes. You a low down dirty woman if you try to get knocked up by a high